trying to launch an application can be the most miserable experience ever. As someone who has launched many applications, it is always a struggle. Until I found Dash Enterprise and using this as the way for me to not only create my applications in a beautiful IDE, it also handles the whole deployment process and makes testing a breeze. So in this video, I'm going to showcase some of that and tell you how to get started with Dash Enterprise. So there's two options whenever you get to Dash Enterprise. There's the App Studio, or you can create a Dash app. A Dash app is relatively simple, where you can just throw in a GitHub repo, or you can create it from an app catalog, and you could work from that. So I'm just going to create a name of demo, and we're going to focus on the app catalog. And there's a bunch of different options to choose from. And any of these that you find appealing, you can just go to it. You could browse the code, or you can just use the app, and you'll automatically get started in launching it and getting it brought into a new Dash app within Dash Enterprise. So within this is what we're brought up to. And it kind of just gets your workspace all set up. But prior to us jumping into the IDE and showing off the workspace, let's talk about some of the other options that are available within the settings and configuration. So services are ways that you can add Redis or Postgres automatically to your Dash application, which honestly is a pain without this. Because you have to download the Postgres server, you have to know some SQL and get everything set up and configured. Where with this service, it's a click of a button and it shows you the URL that it's going to be connected to, and you can just add it and restart. And bam, you have a Postgres server on your Dash application. It's that easy. Same thing with Redis, works the same exact way. And there's a bunch of other different options for this. So it tracks the scaling of your Dash application. So you can see how much memory it's using and what all is happening within the server itself. And you can find all that through here, where it will show you the workspace and then the Postgres server and the memory usage, as you can see here, how much memory you have left within your application. And you can scale that, associate it to this scaling page, and figure out the best configuration for yourself. So the persistent file system, so this is a feature that acts as a file system directory that allows persistence across deployments, which will speed up the requested data that or files that you are putting within your application. It's real easy to get added to your application. You just click on this and then you enable it. And I'll kind of show that once this takes place, but we just added it with the click of a button. And then we have a persistent file system within our Dash application, which couldn't have been done any faster. So another great thing is that it has logs. We'll show that after we get to deployment and all of that. But you have the ability to set access for your Dash application. So you can define the viewer access of who can view your application. You can add viewers this way by putting in the username of somebody within Dash Enterprise. You could also create groups. You can edit access to restricted, so only people with a Dash Enterprise account can view it. You can set up an authentication system with one click button so that people have to log in to view the Dash application that you built, or you could set it to unauthenticated, so anybody who goes to the URL can view your Dash application. So if anybody who has worked within authentication systems know, it is a pain in the butt. And this is just an elegant, fast, one click, get it done. You can't beat that. So streamlines the authentication system, and that's another huge selling point and another huge reason why I love working within Dash Enterprise. So you can configure the portal settings. This just allows you to have a visible portal and then the rank, which can determine the order in which the app appears within the portal. So this is just being defined by the app manager. It will push it up to the top, allow you to quickly get to it every single time. If this is your main application, you'll want to set this just to allow yourself easily to get to this every single time rather than having to scroll. You can define co-owners. Co-owners can view your code, but they can't directly commit or add to it. But in case you're working with a manager and they want to view your work, you can have this defined to have other coworkers be able to see what you're currently working on and use that as a basis point for their own projects. If they're focused on the back end and you're doing the Dash application, they can reference some of the work that you're doing within the work that they are doing, and this could be useful in that regard. So other than that, there are viewer analytics. I will jump back out. I could do the modal viewer. This is probably a good one. So I created this application. You could see how many people have viewed it. And then below, you could see in the past 2 weeks what times people viewed this application. So this is great for tracking the analytics of your app. And you can go over here and you can change the dates that you're trying to search on. So for an application that is doing really well, this can help you define what is working and isn't within your SEO, and how to scale your analytics out more. So other than that, you have a settings option, which will allow you to, for example, change the name of this. So I could do hello world, for example. I could add a description of a smiley face, and then we can add tags like Plotly, and then you could press tab is awesome. So anybody who searches by those tags will be able to find your application. You could provide contact information for whoever is managing or owns the application, and then you can upload a thumbnail of whatever you would like, but it has to be under 100 kilobytes. So we'll try again. We'll do a Plotly logo, and that one will work. So if we save all this, that will be shown as hello world is right here, and we'll see this logo whenever we go back in a second. Another thing that I'd like to focus on is environment variables. They're very easy to manage within Dash Enterprise. So if you're using API keys from an AI, for example, you have Gemini, and you're trying to throw in an API key, you can easily do that through here just by editing the variables, creating a new one, and you can add that variable right here, and it will be persistent within your application, so you can reference that API key and use it where it is needed. You could change the Python version, so if you have to set it to a specific version, you can do that through this interface right here. Now, if I go back, we could see if we scroll down, there's our Plotly logo that we just added to the application, hello world, and a little smiley face, and you can see the tags. So the tags can be searched through here. So if I just look up awesome, and there it is. So helps you keep everything organized and up to date. So jumping back into this, I think this is probably a good one. We'll just go back into here. We can go into the workspace, and I can show how all of that works. But workspace is right here. You can redeploy the workspace if you need it by just clicking on that. This shows the build logs. So whenever I go to build an application, you can download these logs and you can view all of the build information in regards to that. If you go into the workspace itself, you could get a view of how you can start building out your application. It's similar to a Visual Studio code editor, where the top part you are able to write your code, the bottom part is where your terminal lies, and then the left-hand side of the screen is where your files are located. So you could drag files in here, you can reference them, for example, assets. You could create a pages folder, and then you can reference individual pages. Outside of that, just to get started, you could run this application in a development workspace prior to deployment. So if I want to run Python app.py, we'll see that it will start the terminal, load everything up. It will give me a workspace demo for me to start seeing what I'm working within. So this isn't publicly deployed, but this is for my own testing as I go about building out the application. I can run Python app.py, and then I can start seeing the application. So you could close down the server with the Control C, one-click deploy to get this sent over to production, and it will ask you if you'd want to continue. Yes, let it do its thing. It processes. Going back into here, we could go over to builds, and we can see that the build has started. And whenever this build is finished, we can click on this link to go to the application live. So one last thing to cover, because I said I would. We have the persistent file system. When turned on, it will be labeled as the shared explorer. You can drop files directly within here. And if you go to the documentation in this regard, you can look up persistent file system and you can get this documentation. If you scroll down, you can see how you can use it. So, for example, if you drop in a CSV file, you can reference it via mount slash the CSV file, and then you can start using that within your application, and it will drastically speed up the time that it takes to reference those specific files. When your app finishes deploying, you can check its logs by going to the logs directory, and it will show all the logs. This one's a simple application, so it doesn't have much. But for example, if you create callbacks and you have print statements within those callbacks, which could be useful in debugging and seeing what is happening with your code, those print statements will be displayed in this section. So that is a way that you can use this to help you understand what your application is doing, errors that it might be having, and help you resolve those. In a matter of minutes, you can easily get it deployed so that people can see your work. So that's really the power of Dash Enterprise, and it's one of the reasons why it's a great tool for enterprise customers and for companies to allow people to build out amazing stuff without all the struggle that is usually involved with development and DevOps. So with that, I hope that this is useful. There's a lot more to cover, and we're going to be creating a whole series on this topic as we jump more into the IDE and other aspects of Dash Enterprise. So make sure to like, subscribe, and follow along this series so that you can stay up to date and learn all the great features that are included in this offering. So with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.